Andrew Anderson, and we'll do it all over again next week, Friday. Until then, shalom, have a great weekend. So big up all the youths a KC Woolmers and men a proof. Me look and me sing and say, you now go a school, go on the bench and no chair. School lads just wave, put no hands in the air. You know a rectangle.
That was a rebroadcast of the A-Team.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
9 o'clock.
Factual, insightful, and credible. It's Nationwide News Now at 9.
Good morning, I'm Andrew Cannon. Coming up in the news at 9 for this morning, Saturday, September 21, 2024. Heart NSTA Trust says an increasing number of people over the age of 60 is applying to learn skills. Opposition spokesperson on Transport and Works, Michael Phillips, is calling on bauxite and aluminium company Jamalco to prioritize the construction of a haul road for its mining operations in Manchester. JCF is appealing to motorists traveling in the vicinity of Bernard Lodge, St. Catherine to drive with caution as a herd of horses escaped from their stable yesterday. In news from the region, Caribbean probation chiefs try to standardize regional services, while on the international scene, top Hezbollah commanders among 31 people killed in Israeli attack on Beirut. While in sports, Daniel Dubois will defend his IBF belt against Anthony Joshua in an all-British heavyweight title fight. The details after this. Managing Director of the Heart NSTA Trust, Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, says an increasing number of people over the age of 60 is applying to learn skills. Dr. Ingleton was speaking Thursday evening on the occasion of the latest labor force report by Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI. The report is titled Outside In, Increasing Participation in the Labor Force. It examines the characteristics of non-participants and evaluates policy options to encourage their engagement. According to Capri, 6% of people outside the labor force said their retirement age was the key reason. But Dr. Ingleton says older Jamaicans are showing increased willingness to re-enter the labor force.
We are finding that at heart, increasingly, we're having individuals over 60 applying for our training. As a matter of fact, we graduated an individual that was about 73 or 75-year-old just last year, November. So individuals having reached retirement age, they're trying to find ways to re-enter the labor force. They're trying to find new skills. They're at home, they're healthy, they can do work. And they're saying, okay, how is it that I can upskill so that I can be considered as part of that labor market? So that is something perhaps that we need to look at a little bit more closer to see 6% that retired population is, but we should not leave them behind.
Dr. Ingleton says the retired population is a valuable resource and should not be left behind.
So the retired population is one that we perhaps can zoom in on a little bit more. What is happening? People are retiring, but they're not necessarily dying. And so they're trying to find ways to sustain themselves, not depending on their children, to sustain and to survive until the day they leave this earth. And Heart is taking them in and reskilling and upskilling.
Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, Managing Director of the Heart NSTA Trust. The Capri study was completed with funding from the Heart NSTA Trust. Opposition spokesperson on Transport and Works, Michael Phillips, is calling on bauxite and aluminium company Jamalco to prioritize the construction of a haul road for its mining operations in Manchester. The company's bauxite mines are located in South Manchester on the Mount Oliphant Plateau and in Harmons Valley. Phillips says the frequency of heavily laden trucks on the narrow Manchester roads has been such a problem that local authorities have had to order the company to halt operations during school hours.
The challenge that we have in northwest Manchester is that the size of the road, the width of the road is so narrow that once a truck is running on the road, everybody else has to take bush, as we would say. So we had to have them stop operating during the school hours. So between 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. they don't operate, and from 2:30 to 4 they don't operate. But otherwise, during the day, it is causing a problem with transport because they have at least 15 or 20 trucks on the road running at 5-minute intervals. So it causes a problem. And what we want, we don't want them on the main road. If you're going to be hauling bauxite, and the truth I've been told is that the government has to take responsibility because they issued the permit for them to use the main road, and they need to put some pressure on them to complete the haul road.
Phillips says residents are growing increasingly frustrated. He is urging the company to act swiftly and reduce the risks to the commuting public.
And we are encouraging them to fast track the haulage road that they have been promising us for the last 4 years that they will put into effect to take their trucks off the road. It is beyond me why it is that after 4 years we're still waiting on them to even conclude the agreements between themselves and the government and other landowners to be able to start that haul road. I think the patience of the residents and the operators within the Mile Gully area, public passenger and other road users is growing thin. It is growing thin for me too. So we'd hope that Jamalco, as they have promised that 2025, that they will start some work on the haul road that becomes a reality.
Michael Phillips, opposition spokesperson on transport and works. Meanwhile, Phillips, who is Member of Parliament for North West Manchester, is renewing his call for a dedicated road maintenance fund. The MP says government's allocations for the Spark and Reach road repair programs are not sufficient for the volume of deplorable roads in the constituency.
The government has proposed another road program, so it was Spark in the budget, which has not yet materialized, and then Reach, which is another program that the Prime Minister has announced. It is my understanding that the Reach program is not a new program. It is the same $3 billion that was put in the budget at the start of the financial year for road maintenance through the National Works Agency. Across the island, $10 million in road maintenance in a constituency like Northwest Manchester can't do even a kilometer of road of maintenance. We are still proposing that the government, to do proper road maintenance, need to relook at a road maintenance fund.
Mr. Phillips says the funds pale even more when stacked against the damage caused by Hurricane Beryl. According to Mr. Phillips, the problem is compounded by an alleged difficulty identifying contractors willing to take on the projects.
Even after the passage of Hurricane Beryl, the damage that was done on some roadways in parishes like Manchester, what is being given now for road maintenance is woefully inadequate. I would not be surprised if you see more persons showing their frustration because of the condition of the roadways. We need to stop this PR stuff and be realistic and telling the people the truth. National Works Agency, we can hardly find contractors that want to work for National Works Agency. I've been told that contractors who work to clear roadways during Hurricane Beryl has still not been paid. The National Works Agencies owe contractors for the $40 million constituency program from 2 years ago. They're owing contractors over billions of dollars.
Michael Phillips, opposition spokesperson on transport and works. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is appealing to motorists traveling in the vicinity of Bernal Lodge, St. Catherine, to drive with caution as a herd of horses escaped from their stable yesterday. The JCF says the animals are roaming along the roads, posing a significant risk to both motorists and pedestrians, and the presence of the horses on public roadways can lead to potential accidents and injuries. Motorists are advised to exercise extreme caution while driving through the area. The recommended safety measures include reduction of speed, staying alert, avoiding sudden maneuvers, and driving defensively. Meanwhile, based on pictures observed by the Nationwide News Center, at least one of the horses died when there was a vehicular collision. Other horses sustained multiple injuries when they bolted into the oncoming traffic. The extent of the injuries is unclear at this time. The incident had resulted in a traffic snarl and rerouting of vehicles. Consultant obstetrician and fertility specialist Dr. Loxley Christie says changing social norms is a major contributing factor to Jamaica's declining fertility rate. Dr. Christie says there are also medical indicators in both sexes.
Many of our women are just changing their views to this, okay, I need to get married by 20 and have 3-4 children by the time I'm 25. Again, that's another significant factor. Just the way how people view families, that compass has changed a bit also. The need for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 children isn't there anymore. From a medical standpoint, there are also significant indicators to suggest that fertility rates are falling. And that's for both men, and I need that to be clear. If it's one thing I get clear before I leave here, it's for both men and women. So we all need to talk.
Dr. Christie was speaking against the backdrop that fertility and policy experts have warned that Jamaica is on the brink of a fertility crisis. According to the Jamaica Population Health Status Report for 2000 to 2022, the country's fertility rate is falling below replacement population level. It says the total number of live births in the country has declined sharply over the last 2 decades. Over that period, the crude birth rate declined by 10.2 percentage points. Dr. Christie explained that childcare expenses and shifting gender roles also contribute significantly to the decline in fertility numbers.
From a sociological standpoint, it's much more expensive to raise children. So the economics of it all will dictate that you have smaller couples, smaller families. One of the very significant factors is the changing role of our genders. Once you increase education, then family size tends to fall. These are also long courses which on careers which involve quite often intensive amount of time and work put in.
Dr. Loxley Christie, consultant obstetrician, gynecologist and fertility specialist. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Friday. A curfew imposed in Kingston Western District and Florence Hill in Lawrence Tavern, St. Andrew will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Sunday. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Friday. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is urging all individuals within the boundaries of the curfew areas to remain within their premises during the hours of the measure, unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. Let's now turn to news in the region. The newly formed Caribbean Association for Probation and Parole, CAP, has embarked on an ambitious initiative to standardize probation services across the region in a bid towards modernizing the region's criminal justice system. CAP is positioning itself to usher in significant changes in the regional criminal justice system with a focus on reducing crime, improving citizen security, and fostering collaboration among Caribbean nations. At a workshop held on Wednesday at the United Nations Marine House in Hastings, CAP Chairman Cuthbert Henry outlined the association's vision following the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding MOU between regional probation departments on Tuesday. The MOU, which will remain in effect for 5 years, seeks to establish a formal network for CAP to facilitate collaboration, share best practices and experiences, advocate for evidence-based policy reforms, and improve the effectiveness of these services. On the international scene, Hezbollah has confirmed its senior commanders Ibrahim Akil and Ahmed Wabi were both killed in a strike on the Lebanese capital Beirut on Friday, which killed at least 31 people, including 3 children. The Israel Defense Forces IDF said the strike targeted the Iran-backed group's elite Rwandan unit. The United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, told a Security Council meeting that the pager had and walkie-talkie explosions this week in Lebanon, which killed 37 people, violated international humanitarian law. On Thursday night, the Israeli Air Force attacked hundreds of Hezbollah rocket launch pads in southern Lebanon, and on Friday attacked military buildings in 6 areas. And on Friday, Hezbollah attacked northern Israel with around 200 rockets launched from Lebanon, according to the Israeli military. And now to sports. Daniel Dubois will defend his IBF belt against Anthony Joshua in an all-British heavyweight title fight at London's Wembley Stadium this weekend. A post-war record crowd of 96,000 will be in attendance as Joshua, 34, bids to become a 3-time world champion. Dubois, 27, won the interim title earlier this year and was elevated to full champion status. Fans are expecting an explosive finish. Dubois has won 21 bouts with 21 stoppages and 2 defeats. Joshua has lost 3 times but has 28 wins, 25 by knockout. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. Heart NSTA Trust says an increasing number of people over the age of 60 is applying to learn skills. Opposition spokesperson on Transport and Works Michael Phillips is calling on Bauxite and Aluminium Company Jamalco to prioritize for construction of a haul road for its mining operations in Manchester. JCF is appealing to motorists traveling in the vicinity of Bernal Lodge, St. Catherine to drive with caution as a herd of horses escaped from their stable yesterday. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at midday.
You've just heard Nationwide News Now at 9.
The following hurricane tip is brought to you by Isratech Jamaica Limited. In the event of a hurricane, ensure that there is adequate amount of water harvesting done prior to the hurricane. The preceding hurricane tip was brought to you by Isratech Jamaica Limited. Telephone 876-754-5443.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61124. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Tate's Pharmacy, offering quality service for over 40 years. Get prescription drugs at affordable prices and 10% discount for senior citizens. All major health cards accepted. They also offer blood pressure, blood sugar, pregnancy and other tests. While you wait, you can purchase attractive household and other gift items. Located at Shop 27 Bargain Village Plaza, Maypen. Open Monday to Saturday 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Telephone 786-2222. Tate's Pharmacy, Clarendon's #1 pharmacy.
Elevate your knowledge in the world of healthcare and pharmaceuticals at the 39th Annual Pharmaceutical Conference. The innovative conference is back and better than ever under the theme Pharmacists, Trusted, Empowered, United for Action. Join Nationwide 90 FM from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with a Talk of Youth and a Design Studio from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on September 21 as we broadcast live from the Ocean Coral Springs in Trelawney. Join us for the most anticipated pharmaceutical conference of the year only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, Horton's Pharmacy, Town Center Pharmacy, Max Pharmaceuticals, Hughes Professional Pharmacy, Dean's Pharmacy, Beauty Institute, Portmore Mall Pharmacy, and Tate's Clarendon Pharmacy.